The Diplomat from Earth, the space station Arc Prime, floated quietly in the blackness between galaxies. It was a neutral ground, a place where wars paused and enemies shook hands, sometimes with smiles, sometimes with daggers hidden in sleeves. Inside its grand hall, leaders from different alien empires sat around a wide, glowing table. The room was cold, both in temperature and in feeling. At the head of the table sat King Drogon, ruler of the Varn Dominion, a large and powerful empire known for crushing weaker worlds. He was tall, sharp-jawed, with eyes like frozen stone. Around him stood guards in dark armor, their weapons humming. Softly, Drogon looked annoyed, as if this entire meeting was a waste of his time. "She's late," he muttered. A tall Varn general leaned close. "The human diplomat has just arrived, Your Majesty." Drogon raised an eyebrow. "They sent only one?" "Yes, my king, a single representative, a woman," Drogon smirked. "Earth has truly grown soft." Just then, the doors opened. In walked a woman wearing a simple gray coat. No guards followed her. No assistants. No translator bots. Just her. She moved with calm steps, her face relaxed, her eyes clear. Her name was Mara, and she looked more like a teacher than a diplomat. She smiled gently as she approached the table. "Good evening," she said in a quiet, polite voice. "I come on behalf of Earth." Drogon didn't bother to stand. "One human. No protection. Are you brave, foolish, or just unwanted by your people?" Mara didn't flinch. "I'm here for peace, that is all." Drogon leaned back, pretending to be bored. But deep inside he was insulted. Earth had sent a single woman to speak to him, as if he wasn't worth more effort. He looked at his top assassin, a creature named Viren, standing near the wall. Viren was a master of stealth. Silent, fast and deadly. Drogon gave him a small nod. The order was clear: kill the human before she opens her mouth again. Mara sat down at the table and poured herself a small cup of tea from the flask she had brought. She took a slow sip. The room was silent. Viren moved through the shadows behind her. No one noticed him. Not the guards, not the council, not even the security systems. He raised his blade behind Mara's back, but before the blade could fall, he vanished. There was no flash, no sound, no scream. One moment, the assassin was there. The next, he was gone. Only a faint whisper of air remained where he had stood. Drogon sat up straight. His eyes scanned the room. His guards looked around in confusion. Mara gently placed her cup down. She looked at Drogon with the same calm eyes. "Would you like some tea, Your Majesty?" she asked. Drogon didn't answer. He pressed a small button hidden under the table. It sent a silent message to his security team. Alert level red. Invisible. Threat. Contain immediately. Mara leaned forward slightly. "I came to speak. I came alone, in peace. But if you do not want to hear me, I can leave." "You're not leaving," Drogon growled. Guards moved in, weapons pointed. A strange tension filled the room. One of the guards touched her shoulder. "Stand, human." Mara looked up at him with soft eyes. "Are you sure?" Before he could reply, he collapsed unconscious. No blood, no sign of injury. Just down. The other guards hesitated. Drogon slammed his fist on the table. "Who are you?" Mara stood up slowly. "I told you, I'm a diplomat." "But you just my assassin, my guard." Drogon couldn't find the words. "I didn't come to fight, King Drogon." "But you sent a blade to my back." She paused. "I turned it away." The alien leaders at the table shifted nervously. Some whispered to each other. Who was this woman? How did she do that? Drogon pointed a trembling finger at her. "You're not a diplomat." Mara's smile faded just a little. "Not always." He stared at her. "What is your name?" There was a pause. Then she said the name like a whisper through steel. "Baba Yaga." The room went completely still. Even Drogon's face paled slightly. He had heard that name. A ghost from old war reports. A name spoken in the shadows of battlefields. A myth, they had said. A monster from Earth who disappeared years ago. You're lying, he said, but his voice wasn't strong anymore. Mara picked up her cup again. Believe what you want. I only came to talk. She sipped her tea once more and looked toward the stars through the window. Behind her, the shadows of the room seemed deeper now. Something unseen moved within them. Not enemies, allies. They were waiting for her signal, but she gave none. Not yet. Let them listen, she thought. Let them. Wonder. A past written in blood, the name Baba Yaga echoed in King Drogon's mind long after the meeting ended. He sat alone in his private chamber, the lights dimmed low, fingers tapping nervously on the cold metal armrest of his throne. Outside the thick windows, the stars shined like silent watchers. But Drogon felt no comfort from them. He opened an old file on his private device. The words "classified Earth operatives" blinked on the screen. He typed in the forbidden's name, Baba Yaga. The system paused. Then a few broken images appeared. A burning alien outpost, smoke rising in zero gravity, a blurred figure walking calmly through falling debris. An intercepted Varn soldier's report. She is death with a human face. Drogon swallowed hard. Far from his chamber, in a quiet room on Arc Prime, Mara sat alone. She had returned to her quarters after the tense council meeting. The room was simple. One bed, one desk, one window. To the stars. She removed her coat and placed it neatly over the chair. Her movements were slow, careful. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't tired. She was thinking. On the desk, a small metal box sat unopened. It was shaped like a cube, marked with a red Earth symbol. She pressed her finger on the top. The box opened. Silently, revealing a small chip. She placed the chip into the slot on the desk's console. A hologram blinked to life. A man's face appeared. He was older, with a kind expression. His name was Commander Ellis, once the leader of Phantom Black Earth's most secret team during the Orion Uprising. Mara, his recorded message began. If you're watching this, then I guess you really went back out there. His smile was soft but tired. You always said you were done. Said the galaxy had taken too much from you. But I knew one day, if Earth truly needed you, you'd answer. He paused, looking off to the side. I don't know what trouble is brewing now, but if the Varn are involved, it won't be small. I trust you, and I know they won't see you coming. The message ended. Mara sat in silence for a moment. Then, she carefully put the chip away. Years ago, during the Orion Uprising, Mara wasn't a diplomat. She wasn't someone who spoke at peace tables. She was a shadow. A hunter. The one who ended wars before they started. Her team, Phantom Black, was trained for missions no one else could survive. They worked in silence, without medals, without names. Most of them had died during the final battle on Orion 6. Mara had survived, barely. After that, she disappeared. Earth didn't ask questions. She had done more than enough. Until now. Back in the central tower of Arc Prime, King Drogon stood facing his war general, a broad-shouldered alien named Tarn. She cannot be allowed to leave this station, Drogon growled. She is a threat to everything we've built. But she came under peace terms, my king, Tarn said carefully. Drogon's eyes narrowed. I gave her a chance. She answered with death. Tarn bowed slightly. What is your command? Drogon turned away and looked out the window. There is a mind flayer on this station, hidden, trained to enter the minds of even the strongest enemies. His voice was calm now, cold. Send it to her, tonight. I want to know everything about her mind, her mission, her weakness. Tarn hesitated. If she truly is the Baba Yaga, she's a human. Drogon snapped. I don't care what stories the soldiers whisper. She can bleed like the rest of them. That night, Mara sat in meditation on the floor of her room. She breathed slowly, eyes closed. but she felt it that something was coming. Not footsteps, not sound, but a pressure. A change in the air, like cold fingers reaching into her thoughts. The lights flickered. A shape moved in the corner, a tall, thin creature made of shadow and bone. Its eyes were dark glass. Its head pulsed with green light. The -FLAYER. It stepped closer, silent, stretching out a long hand toward her head. Mara didn't open her eyes. The creature touched her forehead lightly, and then it screamed. A high, shrieking sound filled the room. The creature's body twisted as if in pain. Its own memories were being torn apart. Mara opened her eyes slowly. "You entered the wrong mind," she whispered. The creature collapsed. Smoke rose from its head. Its green lights flickered and died. Outside her door, hidden in the shadows, 2 station guards watched the scene through a camera screen. One of them whispered, "Did you see that?" The other nodded, eyes wide. "We need to tell the king." But Mara was already moving. She opened her door and stared at them. "No," she said softly. "I will." Mara walked through the halls of Arc Prime like a ghost. No alarms rang, no soldiers stopped her. It was as if the station itself respected her silence. By the time she reached the throne room, King Drogon was already standing with a small army of guards. He looked shaken but furious. "You dare come here after attacking my spy?" He barked. Mara stopped just inside the doorway. "I told you I came in peace," she said. "You chose violence, again." Drogon raised his weapon. "I choose survival." Mara took one step forward. Suddenly, every screen on the wall flickered to life. Footage appeared, Varn warships moving toward neutral planets. Secret messages showing betrayal. Orders Drogon had given in secret. Mara looked up at him. Earth knew. This entire mission was to see how far you would go, and you went far enough. Behind her, quiet footsteps echoed. 3 more humans appeared plain clothes, calm faces. But in their eyes, the same fire. Her old team, they were back. And this time, they weren't hiding. The trap was Earth's plan. The lights inside Arc Prime's throne chamber flickered as secret footage continued to play on the walls. King Drogon's crimes were now exposed, his lies, his betrayal, his plans to break the peace treaty with Earth. Drogon stared in shock. "How did you get this footage?" "These files were hidden in the Varncore network." Mara stood calmly at the center of the hall, her coat slightly open now, revealing a sleek black suit underneath. Her voice was calm but steady. "Earth has eyes everywhere, even in your empire." Behind her, 3 humans stood like shadows. They wore simple clothes, no armor, no medals, but their movements were sharp-trained, focused. They were members of the old Phantom Black unit, thought dead, but now standing in Drogon's throne room. Right under his nose, Drogon pointed his weapon at Mara. His guards surrounded her team. "Do you think this little trick will bring down the Dominion?" He barked. "You're outnumbered, outgunned." Mara looked around slowly, then spoke softly. "This was never about guns. This was about truth. And now the galaxy knows what you've done." As if on cue, the screen behind her changed again, broadcasting the footage across interstellar news networks, diplomatic satellites, and Varn-controlled territories. Every leader, every soldier, every citizen would now see what Drogon tried to hide. Hours earlier, while Drogon planned to kill Mara, Earth's agents had already taken control of Arc Prime's mainframe. Hidden under fake names, her team had slipped through security checks and placed silent devices throughout the station. One device in the station's AI core, another in the comms tower, the third right under Drogon's throne. They weren't just watching him, they were recording him. In the control room far from the throne chamber, a human technician named Rick watched the broadcast spread. His fingers moved fast over the controls. "We're live everywhere," he whispered into his earpiece. "The Dominion's silence wall is down. All sectors are seeing this. Another voice responded, calm and familiar. Hold it steady. Don't let them block the signal. It was Mara's voice. In the throne room, Drogon gave one last warning. Stand down, human. Leave now and I'll let you walk out alive. Mara tilted her head. I gave you that same offer, twice. With a hand signal, her team moved, fast, silent, deadly. One agent took down the guard near the door. Another disabled the throne room's gravity controls. Suddenly, half the soldiers began to float off balance and unarmed. Mara walked forward, untouched as chaos broke around her. Your empire was built on fear, she said to Drogon. But fear fades, truth lasts. Drogon screamed and fired. Mara wasn't there. She had vanished, just like the assassin in Part 1. A heartbeat later, she appeared behind him. He turned, furious, but too slow. She pressed a small device to his neck. It sparked. He collapsed, twitching, gasping for air. I'm not here to kill you, she said. I want you alive to watch your empire fall. Across the galaxy, planets once under Varn control were rebelling. The broadcast had started revolts. Fleets refused Drogon's orders. Old enemies began to gather strength. On Station Delta, a high-ranking Varn captain destroyed his command codes. On Moon Lycer, prisoners freed themselves, chanting Earth's name. Even in Drogon's own capital, his face was being burned in protest. Inside Arc Prime, the remaining guards surrendered. They laid down their weapons and stepped away. Mara looked around the room. No more blood today, she said. She turned to her team. Secure the station. Prepare for incoming diplomats. The war is over if we let it be. Her teammates nodded and vanished into the corridors. Mara turned once more toward Drogon. Still lying on the floor. He coughed, struggling to sit up. You think this is peace? He growled. It's just the beginning of another war. Mara crouched next to him. No, it's the end of yours. She stood and walked out, her boots echoing against the cold metal floor. Later that night, in the observation chamber, Mara stood alone, looking out at the stars. She held a small device, a cum chip. She pressed it once. A voice came through. Commander Ellis, is it done? He asked. Yes, she replied. He's still alive, but his empire isn't. Ellis was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You did more than any soldier could have. Earth owes you. Mara looked at the stars. I didn't do it for Earth. I did it for peace. For those who can't fight back. And now? Ellis asked. I disappear again. He sighed. You always do. The call ended. In the hallway. Outside, one of her team members, Lane, a quiet man with sharp eyes, leaned against the wall. You're really leaving? He asked. Mara nodded. It's better that way. People are already telling stories, he said, calling you a ghost, a myth. The Baba Yaga of the stars. Mara gave a small smile. Good. Let the next tyrant be afraid of shadows. Then she walked past him, silent as a breeze. Baba Yaga strikes back, approximately 1,000 words, third-person style, simple English. The halls of Arc Prime were dark and quiet. Only emergency lights glowed faintly along the walls. The station was no longer under Varn control. Drogon's soldiers had fled, surrendered, or vanished into the shadows, but Mara and her team were still there. She stood in a high tower overlooking the docking bay. Her hands were behind her back, her eyes focused on a Varn battleship slowly drifting away into the stars. She said nothing, but her mind was working, every move, every plan, every backup. She knew this was not over yet. Elsewhere on the station, inside the sealed vault chamber, King Drogon was awake. He sat alone, bound to a chair, his face pale and his pride shattered. His empire was falling. He stared at the empty room around him, walls of silver, no windows, no guards, just silence. Suddenly, the door opened with a sharp hiss. Mara entered. Her coat was gone. She wore black armor, now light, silent, designed for fast movement. Her steps echoed softly as she walked closer. Drogon didn't speak. He just glared. "You've lost everything," Mara said, her voice calm. "But I need one more thing from you." Drogon laughed, dry and bitter. "You think I'll help you now?" She didn't smile. "I don't need your help. I need your surrender." He spat on the floor. "You think you can win peace by destroying everything? You destroyed it first," she said. "You signed a treaty with Earth, then broke it in secret. You planned invasions, kidnappings, silent wars." Drogon leaned forward, his eyes dark. "Because humans are liars. You smile while building weapons. You act weak, but inside you're killers." Mara tilted her head. "And yet, you're the one in chains." As they spoke, Mara's team was moving through the lower levels of the station. Lane, Tara, and Reed, all veterans of Phantom Black, were now disabling traps left by Varn engineers. The Varn had tried to set a self-destruct code when they lost the station. Reed tapped on a screen, wiping away layers of encrypted data. "They really planned to take us all down with them," he muttered. Tara kept watch beside him, holding a compact blaster. "Cowards don't like losing," she said. "They'd rather burn the game board than admit defeat." Lane spoke into his earpiece. "Mara, we're close to unlocking the control core. 10 more minutes," Mara responded quietly. "Do it fast, he's stalling." Back in the vault, Drogon's smile returned. "You're trying to look calm," he said. "But I can see it. You're afraid." Mara didn't blink. "Of what?" "That when I'm gone, the next tyrant will be worse," he said. "That your peace is a lie. That you're no better than me." She stepped closer. "I'm not afraid of the next tyrant," she said. "Because I'll find them too." Suddenly, the vault shook. A rumble ran through the floor. "Status?" Mara said into her comms. Reed's voice replied. "We disabled most of the bombs. But one power core's overheating. If it melts, half the station will blow." Mara looked at Drogon. "Did you know about that?" He shrugged. "I gave the order, in case I lost." She turned and walked toward the door. "You're coming with me." Drogon laughed again. "Afraid I'll die down here without saying sorry?" "No," Mara said. "I want you to live, so you can see the galaxy rise without you." Mara dragged Drogon through the hallway with one hand, her other hand holding a compact rifle. Alarms began to blare in the distance. The station was heating up. Reed met her at the main elevator. His face was covered in sweat. "The meltdown is close," he said. "We can slow it down, but we need to shut down the main core manually." "I'll go," Mara said. "You should take the escape pod," Reed told her. "The galaxy needs the Baba Yaga alive." Mara paused, then handed Drogon over to Reed. "Get him out. Tell Lane and Tara to fall back. I'll meet you at the pod if I'm lucky." Reed hesitated. "Mara, go." Mara ran through the burning corridors, jumping over pipes and broken panels. Steam hissed from the walls. The deeper she went, the hotter it got. At last, she reached the power core, a huge chamber with spinning blue light in the center. Flames danced around the broken controls. She reached into her belt and pulled out a small injection device, a fusion lock override, only usable once. She climbed the side panel, reached the control junction, and stabbed the device into the port. It blinked red. Then green. The core began to cool. The alarms slowed. The station stopped shaking. Mara collapsed on one knee, breathing hard. "You still alive in there?" Lane's voice came through her earpiece. "Barely," she whispered. "Get out. We've got the ship ready." Minutes later, a small escape shuttle flew away from Arc Prime. Inside, Mara sat quietly, her coat back on. Beside her sat Lane and Reed. Across from her, Drogon was locked in a containment chair, his face twisted with rage and defeat. Reed looked at her. You really weren't going to make it out, were you? Mara didn't answer. She looked out the window at Arc Prime now, stable, safe, and empty of war. She had done what she came to do, not for medals. Not for power, but for the silence that followed. Somewhere on a faraway world, news of King Drogon's fall spread like fire. Children sang of the Shadow Woman. Soldiers whispered of a ghost in gray. Tyrants felt a new fear when they heard her name. She wasn't just a diplomat, She was the storm behind the smile. She was the Baba Yaga. The message to the stars, the escape shuttle from Arc Prime, moved through the stars like a silver arrow. Inside the ship, everything was quiet. Mara sat in the back, eyes half closed, her face calm but tired. She had won. The station was safe. The war was over. Across from her, King Drogon sat locked in his seat, arms and legs bound. His pride was broken. He no longer looked like a king. He looked like a man who had lost everything. Reed piloted the ship, his hands steady on the controls. Lane sat beside him, checking the galaxy map. Earth is waiting, Lane said. They're ready to receive the prisoner. Reed nodded. They'll give him a trial, a real one. Mara opened her eyes slowly. No more lies, she said. No more shadows. News of Drogon's defeat had already spread across the galaxy. On hundreds of worlds, screens showed the fall of the Varn Dominion. Leaders who once feared Drogon were now calling for justice. Some Varn officials tried to deny it. Some begged for mercy, but the truth could not be hidden anymore. Earth's message had been loud and clear. We came in peace. You chose war. We ended it. 3 days later, Mara stood in front of the United Galactic Council on Earth's moon base. The hall was filled with representatives from over 60 worlds. Cameras floated above the crowd, streaming the meeting live to every corner of space. Mara stood alone on the stage. No guards, no armor. Just her. She wore the same gray coat she had arrived in on Arc Prime. But now, everyone in the room looked at her with respect. And fear. One ambassador, a thin creature from the planet Oros, stood up. Are you truly the Baba Yaga? He asked softly. Mara paused, then said, That was a name given during war. I don't wear it proudly, but I will not run from it either. Another voice spoke. Why did Earth send you? Why not an army? Mara looked around the room. Because Earth believes in peace. But we also believe in strength. I was sent to listen. I was ready to speak, but I was also ready to act. The room was quiet. Then she added, Let this be a lesson. Not just to the Varn, but to everyone. Her voice was steady now. Do not mistake kindness for weakness. Do not mistake silence for fear. And never forget that humans will always defend their own. After the speech, the council declared the Varn Dominion disbanded. Its former worlds would now govern themselves under protection from the council. King Drogon was taken to a secure prison on a frozen planet. His trial would begin soon. But even before the sentence, he had already lost what mattered most: power. Mara walked alone through the Earth moon base, past reporters and soldiers who stepped aside when they saw her. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. She wasn't there to be a hero. She was there to disappear again. She met Commander Ellis in a quiet hangar near the launch pads. He looked older now, but his eyes were sharp as ever. You really did it, he said. Mara looked at him. We did it. All of us. Ellis smiled. The council wants to give you a medal, a statue even. She raised an eyebrow. I don't need those. I figured you'd say that. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Ellis asked, Where will you go? Mara looked out the window at the stars. Someplace quiet, she said. Someplace where I don't have to be anything. Ellis nodded. You've earned that. She started to walk toward a small ship waiting on the launch pad, but Ellis called out, One last thing. She turned. You scared them, he said. You really did. Mara gave a faint smile. Good. Then she boarded her ship. And left. Years passed. The galaxy healed. Peace. though fragile, held strong. Small worlds began to rise, no longer living under fear. Treaties were honored, voices were heard. Earth remained strong but silent, and somewhere, far beyond the charts, on a quiet planet with blue skies and deep forests, a woman lived alone in a small house. She had no title, no visitors, no weapons. But sometimes, when children played in the trees, their parents would whisper stories. They spoke of a woman from Earth, a diplomat who walked into an empire with no army, a ghost who moved faster than death, a shadow who ended a war without starting one. They called her Baba Yaga, and somewhere that woman Mara sat by her fire, sipping tea. She listened to the wind, she watched the stars, and she smiled, not because she missed the war, but because she knew that, if darkness ever returned, the galaxy would remember what happened the last time they underestimated a human. The END